Mary is plunged apparently even into more deep consternation. And she says to the angel, "How can this be, since I do not know a man?" Now, she's not saying I've never been acquainted with a man. The phrase, "I do not know a man," is a Hebrew idiom to mean I have never been sexually involved with a man. And I understand enough about biology, Mary is saying, to know that you can't have a baby without the normal process of procreation. And I am disqualified from that because I'm a virgin. So perhaps you've come to the wrong address, Mr. Gabriel. And we notice a similar announcement in Matthew's Gospel, where he introduces the subject in chapter 1 of Matthew by saying, "Now the birth of Jesus Christ was as follows. After his mother Mary was betrothed to Joseph, before they came together, she was found with child of the Holy Spirit. And Joseph, her husband, being a just man, and not wanting to make her a public example, was minded to put her away secretly." Now, Joseph has to deal with this announcement as well. Mary at some point has to communicate to her betrothed, "I'm with child." Now, what does that automatically mean to Joseph? It means that his bride-to-be has been unfaithful. Now, if I read between the lines, I feel certain that Mary would have tried to explain this situation to Joseph, and yet he would have had a hard time, an extremely hard time, being convinced of the veracity of what actually took place. And yet he has compassion, he cares for her. He wants to stop the marriage from being finalized, but at the same time, he doesn't want to make a public disgrace or scandal of her situation, and he resolves to put her away quietly until there is more intervention. While he thought about these things, behold, an angel of the Lord appeared to him in a dream, saying, "Joseph, son of David, do not be afraid to take to you Mary your wife, for that which is conceived in her is of the Holy Spirit. And she shall bring forth a son, and you shall call his name Jesus, for he will save his people from their sins." And then Matthew immediately ties this to the prophecy of Isaiah, that a virgin would conceive and bring forth a son whose name would be called Emmanuel, or God with us. So in both accounts, in Matthew's record and in Luke's record, the astonishing proclamation is set before the church that the circumstances of the birth of Jesus were extraordinary and miraculous. That Jesus' birth was a virgin birth. A point that for some reason has been highly disputed in the last century or two, in a somewhat unusual manner. I know all kinds of people who will say, "I believe in the resurrection of Christ, but I don't believe in the virgin birth." As if God's having his own son conceived in the womb of a woman who is a virgin is somehow more difficult than raising that son from the dead. We have to understand that the biblical account of the portrait of Jesus, the Jesus that is presented in the pages of the New Testament, is the Jesus whose life is ablaze with miracle. His life begins with a miracle, and it ends, or begins again, with a miracle, and in between, the power of the living God is displayed in and through him constantly.